Hey, welcome back to Flashbacks and Fun Facts. Now, in the past few episodes, I've talked about going to the arcade and I've talked about playing outside. But what about when the arcades were closed and it was raining outside? Well, you didn't have to settle for boredom. You could command armies, storm beaches, and rewrite history, all from the comfort of your own home. Welcome to the world of Avalon Hill Wargames, where cardboard counters and hex maps turned rainy afternoons into epic campaigns. So if Pac-Man was about dodging ghosts, then these games were about dodging artillery fire. And sure, we could command a tank in battle zone, but now you could command entire mechanized divisions. And I still have a few of these games. And let's start with Tactics 2, often called the granddaddy of modern war games, released in 1958 and developed by Charles Roberts, who basically founded Avalon Hill. It was so affordable that they sold the initial units for $3 a piece. This gateway strategy was a brilliant idea to attract newcomers into the world of wargaming. And it worked because it was simple. The rule book to get started playing was 3 pages. Next up was Tobruk, a detailed simulation of tank combat in North Africa during World War II. It was notorious for its complex rule book. Look at the print in this. I can't even read this anymore without my glasses on. But it was one of the first Avalon Hill games to use program instruction rules, which meant the players learned the game step by step through scenarios, instead of being overwhelmed by this entire rule book at once. It was Avalon Hill's way of trying to make something complex a little bit more approachable. Next up is Air Assault on Crete, focusing on the German invasion of Crete in World War II. And this one took a little bit of space to spread out the map boards. And it was one of the first to introduce things like resupply and reinforcements via sea and paratroop forces being dropped. The game also came with a bonus game, Invasion of Malta, an invasion that never actually happened. The German plan to invade Malta to cut off Allied supply lines never came to fruition. But Avalon Hill turned that unrealized plan into a viable war game and gave gamers a chance to dabble in alternate history. If you happen to have all the pieces and parts that go with the bonus game of Invasion of Malta, that makes it a little bit of a collector's item today. It's kind of like a buy one, get one invasion game. From the 1950s to the 1990s, Avalon Hill published over 200 titles across war games, strategy games, sports simulations, and even some quirky one-offs, like the Dr. Ruth game of good sex in 1985. Yeah, explain that one to Grandma. And if it wasn't for these games, we might not have some of these modern online video games like Civilization and Total War today. And okay, of course, now you're asking, Art, what page of the Sears catalog could you find these on? Many of the things we've talked about in this series, I mentioned could be found in the Sears catalog. But Avalon Hill War Games? Nope. I guess mechanized tank battles in North Africa were a little bit too intense to sit next to things like Vertibirds and Viewmasters. Arcade games gave us pixelated battlefields, outdoor games gave us grassy ones, and Avalon Hill gave us cardboard ones. In the arcade, you needed quarters. Outside, you needed sunshine and maybe a few of these. For Avalon Hill games, you just needed a flat surface and a friend willing to read 40 pages of rules. And the battle, it wasn't for high scores or bragging rights, it was for hexes. Win enough hexes, and suddenly you're conquering nations, rewriting campaigns, and reshaping history. Well, of course, until Mom called you for dinner. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.